Hi. I truly can't even see myself, which is crazy because I literally have my contacts in. It's just like the viewfinder's so small. Anyways, I got in bed, get all cozy, comfy, just to kind of talk. Actually, I got the idea for this video because I watch a lot of. Am I sitting? Okay. I couldn't figure out what sheet I was sitting on. But I watch Tana Mongeau's podcast, Brand Safe. I've been really into her like rebrand or whatever, honestly. And she has an episode of her podcast where she's like in bed, but it's obviously higher level production than mine, but it's got like different angles and stuff. But I think, well, like I thought that watching a few episodes of her, sorry if you can hear me like moving around, or a few episodes of her podcast, like just watching them, I really liked like the format that she has, which is basically just like she talks about what she's thinking about. And I like that. So I'm going to do that because I obviously have like friends that I talk to, but sometimes I feel like they get tired of me because I feel like I talk about the same 10 things over and over again. But also I feel like I have so many thoughts that I just like feel bad talking to my friends about. And I do have like a life coach and a therapist, and I'm looking to get a psychiatrist because I think I need to be like clinically diagnosed. But there's something therapeutic to just like letting my thoughts out, I guess. I've been telling like I told my life coach, and I say this often about myself, is that like I am the kind of person that like verbally processes. So it helps me when I talk about stuff to kind of like process the emotions or like figure out what the fuck is going on. But who do you do that with besides a therapist or someone that you pay? But I really feel like it would be valid if my therapist was just like, shut the fuck up, because I just talk. Well, actually, no. He said that I'm very self-aware, which is like the first step to treatment, is that like I can identify all of these like thoughts and feelings and like where they might come from and all of that. But he basically like talked with me about just like the mindset that I have and like the difference between feelings and thoughts and beliefs, because we opened one of my like first sessions with talking about how I had done like a whole intake form, obviously because it was a new therapist, and he really wanted to hone in on how I had filled out that I feel just like hopeless about basically everything. And he was like, he opened with like, hopelessness isn't actually a feeling, it's just like, it's a belief, which was like a banger straight out of the gate, honestly, because I don't know, I feel like it just feels like a feeling, because, I would like think about hopelessness as like a feeling I have, obviously, because like that's something that I feel. But he was like, no, it's actually a belief. Like you believe this about your future, or you believe this about like the way that you are, or like the way your life is gonna be. And so we did a lot of work on like beliefs like that, like how I like having beliefs like that and kind of working towards like dealing with that and not basically not believing that. But anyways, that's not where I was gonna go. But I don't really have a format for this. It's kind of just like I feel like a bootleg Tana Mongeau, just in bed talking about whatever I want to talk about. It kind of eats though. It's kind of so like all credit to her stealing that. I think it's just like Mercury retrograde in Cancer. I personally feel like my Gatorade's and like being microwaved. You know what I mean? Mercury's Gatorading, and it's funny. I texted Maisel earlier today, and I was like, I hate that I'm the ex that's getting affected by Mercury retrograde, and not my ex. Like, I don't know. I guess because it's like almost my way of coping with thinking so much about my ex still, like a month after the breakup. It like blaming it on Mercury retrograde, I guess. because it's easier than just like seeing it as I'm still not over it, even though I feel like I should be at this point. Not that I should be, I guess, but like I'm like obviously not over it, but I'm also tired of not being over it. Like I kind of just wish I was at this point. I feel like it'd be easier, you know? I feel like my life would be better if I was. Probably a lot of things I still need to process about that though, and that's probably why. I also texted Makana. Why did I text Makana? It was something good. Oh, I texted her that like we've agreed collectively that I just need to go see a psychiatrist and get like diagnosed, because I was like, you know, it's insane to me that I still have like this baseline level of just like melancholy, you know, because I wouldn't call it just like sadness or like anger or like disappointment. Like it feels kind of like a melancholy that I have that's not like, you know, it's not like gut wrenching. It's not like a super strong feeling, but it's almost like a baseline feeling that I have, and that's almost like becoming my neutral, which is not good, obviously. Like I'd rather my neutral just like be neutral, because it really helped me in Leo Skepi's episode on Aware and Aggravated on breakups, where he talks about how like feelings, like emotions come in waves, because we don't like a human's natural state of rest isn't like a heightened emotion, you know. And he said even when you get like super excited about something or super happy, like you don't just live in that 24/7. You go back to a baseline, and it's the same thing as like, you know, when you're devastated, you're crying, like you're sobbing, something's like gut-wrenchingly upsetting you. Those moments where like you can get up to drink water, you know, you can go use the bathroom, like go piss, girl. And that helped me a lot. But like I went to dinner with one of my close friends a couple of weeks ago, which is honestly really nice, because he had texted me asking something business related, and then he was like, I saw your video, by the way. And he just kind of like acknowledged that like it sucked. And not that my video sucked, but like, you know, he kind of wanted to reach out and like acknowledge it and like empathize, which is really nice. So we went out to go get dinner and catch up, and he had called me to talk about business stuff also. And then when he had called me, and kind of like at dinner, but not really, over the phone, he was like, you know, you don't seem like your usual self. Basically, like, you don't seem okay, which is like not something that I thought. Like, I didn't actually think talking about this would hit me the way that it does now, because it was just like such a small and like not insignificant, but it was like a really small thing in the moment, you know? But I guess like looking back on it, like talking about it, see, this is what I mean when I say like I talk things out to process them. I guess now processing that, it's like it's crazy that just my neutral state, like, you know, someone calling me to talk about business, and it was like even then he could tell that like I wasn't like up to my normal self. And like we had gone to eat dinner, and he was like, you know, you seem better than you did on the phone, because on the phone like it just like really didn't seem like the way that I know you to be, which I guess it's not that I'm faking it. It's not that I put on this mask when I go out to socialize. I actually do love being around people, and especially people that I care about. But it's just like, you know, I feel like sometimes I have like these moments where my neutral like feeling, or like my baseline feeling, is like something I'd describe as melancholy. Obviously that has like almost everything to do with the breakup, but then also like I guess the things that followed from that too, like the beliefs about myself and the beliefs about my future that I now had, and like just facing like the different reality that I'm in, And I don't feel like getting a tissue before you say anything about it because I didn't expect to cry. And so I'm just gonna stop crying. That's my solution. And I think I want to start making more videos like this where it's just me talking because, and I'd wanted to address this, but I just like didn't know how. But I guess here is a good place. I had a lot of people that reached out to me after my last video. So I've decided that putting out videos like this is like almost a good way to catch up the people that care about what's going on in my life, because I had so many people reaching out to me after they saw my last video, basically like talking about how bad my life is going. Like I had people texting me, I had people that commented on the video, I had people DMing me, and it was people that, I see in my real life all the time, or like I just talk to sometimes, or like maybe we're just internet friends. And even like people that I saw in person after that video came out, they were like talking to me about it and just like empathizing with me. Empathizing? I don't know. They were acknowledging that it sucks and like giving me condolences, I guess. So that, first of all, was like really nice. I've actually felt so supported. And second of all, it made me kind of realize that like there are people that care to the extent that they're actually watching the videos I put out on my channel. Like they subscribe to me, they actually click the links in my Instagram stories. They care, they want to see my updates, they want to support me, so that's really cool. So I think I'm just gonna start doing more videos like that. It feels like a mass text to everybody that cares enough to kind of watch my content, just like how I'm doing. Yeah, it's also a lot easier, honestly, which a lot of people might think it's crazy, but I feel like it's a lot easier for me to be vulnerable in my videos than it is to like be vulnerable with my friends, like face to face or like through text. Like I still kind of feel uncomfortable with vulnerability, so that's something I have to work on. But for now, I guess I'll be vulnerable in front of a camera for however many people to see, like my friends and strangers that just come across my videos, and like my viewers that have never met me before. And if you originally subscribed to me for dance content, I hope that's coming in the future. But like for now, sorry. This is what you're getting, I guess. Oh, and I haven't even acknowledged that like this is obviously not my room. This is a hotel for a trip that I'm currently on, that I am vlogging, so that video will be out. I don't think it'll be out before this one though. So obviously I'm not going to address where I'm staying because like, I don't know, depending on how fast I edit this, might not be out of here yet, I don't know. I guess it's just like my 1 month update, 1 month post breakup. Mercury is Gatorading me in Cancer, which I'm a Cancer moon. I don't know if that makes sense. Not like if you understand astrology, then like that probably makes sense. My Cancer moon. I'm a Pisces sun, Cancer moon, Virgo rising, Aries Venus, if anyone cares. So that's I feel like my chart, if you look at it, really explains a lot about me and what's going on in my life. I've been telling Maisel I don't know if I'm going through spiritual psychosis or what. Just like, again, because of my breakup. Breakup is so bad that I think I'm going through spiritual psychosis about it. And I kind of want to give a little bit of like context that like it wasn't like your standard everyday breakup, which like, because I feel like a lot of people, me included, if I was like somebody that just had the context of like we broke up, that like I would just be like, all right girl, pack it up, it's been like a month, maybe you need to be like, diagnosed or like put down like a dog, take me out to the back of the barn and just shoot me in the head. Maybe we process that a little faster. But I think one of the things that's like putting me in this like thought loop, if you will, one of the reasons, is that it wasn't just like my ex just decided that they wanted to break up with me on like a random Tuesday. You know what I mean? It was like they had literally told me like they on the phone like they were gonna get back on dating apps. And they were set on where they were moving because that was one of the like, I don't want to say points of contention, but like, you know, that was one of the things that was like up in the air, is that they knew where they were going to move eventually, and that they were like actively trying to move, and they were actively also going to get on dating apps, and they were fine to just pack it up and cut it off where it was until I mentioned that I was going to therapy. And then they kind of said like they'd emphasized they were going to get back on dating apps, but that they were open to hearing from me, like, if therapy goes well, I guess, or like hear updates from me about therapy, which every time I tell somebody that, it kind of like adds a new layer of disdain for my ex, which I get. And I'm not saying that that's like, and that's what's making me like still think about them or like still want them. It's like, I think that's the cause, one of the causes of me being in this thought loop still. Like, is that it feels so A, confusing, and B, unfinished. And there is that. But I don't know, because it's kind of this thing where like I know that a part of me thinks about it because a part of me still thinks like, you know, that's like my in. Like I maybe still have a chance, and like they want to give me that chance. That's why they said that. But my life coach had kind of given me the option of like, you know, maybe they just said that because they felt guilty for breaking up with you, and that was their way of like removing some of the guilt, was not to cut it off completely so it wouldn't be completely their fault, which I also took into account, and like I do take into account. But it's this weird thing of like having to retrain my brain that I'm not losing a chance if I don't like reach out to them before they find someone else, you know, or that like that they even want me to reach out, like, and like also understanding that the way that this person is that they said that, and that kind of also means that they're not gonna reach out, because that's like, it's almost kind of like they put that ball in my court as a way of being like, it's like on me to reach out because they won't. But I guess I just like have to accept the fact that they like pieced out of that one. It also just kind of sucks to think about how they're actively looking for someone to replace me. While I'm like, I was gonna say like imagine for a second, but you don't have to imagine. Just like, you just have to look. Basically. Look at the person on your screen right now. Their ex is actively looking for a replacement for them while they're sitting in a bed that is not their own in a city that they don't live in, on a trip that they should be like ecstatic about. And they're crying. And they're crying over someone that's actively looking for their replacement, just like in life. That, and I guess this is almost like exposure therapy because I say it out loud. And that's like, first of all, that's just like a sad situation. Second of all, it's okay. You can say it because I'm going to say it. That's like pathetic. And it's almost embarrassing, the situation that I find myself in. But I think it's like almost exposure therapy for me to say it and to put it on the internet so I can understand and process the situation that I'm letting myself be in right now. And that's not to say that like you can just choose to move on from somebody. But I think step one is accepting that I need to like let it go, because like it comes up on my, is it a For You page on my like on my Instagram Explore, because I don't really use TikTok. It comes up on my Instagram Explore page I don't want to say often, but it comes up on my Instagram Explore page. Posts about breakups, basically, because the phone's always listening. But it's like, moving on isn't like the hard part. It's accepting that moving on means that you're accepting that it's over. And I think that's the hard part. And I think that's also one of the other factors keeping me in the thought loop, is that like when I let go, it's over. Regardless of whether or not I ever believed there was a chance, regardless of whether or not they believed that there was still a chance. Like I said, because it's on me, it feels like I'm the person that has to let go, and in the same way that it's almost like been made my responsibility to reach out, it's in the same vein, in that same way, it's been made my responsibility to let go. And I guess that's like sad and scary, because what do you do when half of you is in denial, but the other half has that level of understanding? I don't know. I go back and forth on it a lot. I have an ex that's still like a homie, and a little bit after we'd broken up, not like immediately after, because I'm not that toxic, but a little bit after we'd broken up, I asked if they thought we would ever get back together. Not on like some manipulation type shit or whatever. It was just a genuine like curiosity, I guess I had. And they were like, well, because I had broken up with them, they were like, I feel like that's on you. They were like, basically, that would be kind of your decision. Like, not that like I could say the word and they would get back together with me, but it was like they're not gonna, like, they wouldn't approach the situation, even if they had found themselves wanting that, because I had left. So they wanted to respect that, and part of respecting it is like they wouldn't ask. And that's kind of also where I sit, is like, because I obviously wasn't the one that chose this, is like, even though I know that opening was like I would have to be the one to reach out, I feel like it's not my place. I'd still want to respect my ex's choice and decision to leave me, and I agree with the notion that that means they would have to be the one to reach out and like ask for it, That's where I'm at, I think, with that. But I don't know. Like I said, it's been a month though, so I think if anything were to happen, we've like we're past the chapter, I guess, that it would have happened. I guess time was also a factor. I like wasn't able to accept it because it was so fresh. And my life coach and I talk about this sometimes. It's like I still think about it because it's still fresh, and like it still affects me because I'm still like, and fresh is like the word that she used, where she was like, no, it's still fresh. And like she does really good at acknowledging that like this is not something that like has happened and you've had time to process it. It's like, this is still like actively affecting you, and you're still finding ways, like you're still retraining your brain in your everyday life and like the routines that you had, and like the direction in life that you're taking. So I guess that's what it is like the longer we quote unquote go no contact, aka the longer I don't hear from my ex, the more it becomes real. And I feel like that's why I'm also crashing out so hard. It's like it's becoming real. Like it felt real then, and it's just becoming more and more of a reality now. That's where I am with that. I didn't start this video like with the expectation to cry. It's literally like 11 p.m. I have to go to bed because I have to wake up early tomorrow for the event that I can't tell you guys about because I'm vlogging it. I'm gonna set some alarms, and I'm gonna put on more moisturizer because I think I cried it off. I'm gonna go blow my nose. More videos of this nature will probably come out next time. I have a bunch of thoughts that I want to release into the world. Let me know if you guys want updates on specific parts of my life. like therapy, my life coaching. I'm getting life coached. I'm not the life coach, if that even needs to be like said. But my therapy, my life coaching, seeing a psychiatrist, my Etsy shop. I am still dancing, don't worry. Please follow my Instagram for proof that I still dance. It's hard and I don't want to right now, but I will make something of this little life. See you guys next time.